All right, everybody. Emergency edition here of the Pattison Report. We've been off for a couple of weeks. For what it's worth, I was in a very intense beer league softball tournament run that just took precedent over the cast. And then other nights we had Phillies games, and neither one of us wanted to half watch the game, half do the podcast. So we waited until this week. We'll probably never do it again on a Thursday night after the Phillies lose, because I think we've done this twice now, and they've dropped twice. So we're going to stop doing that. But, yeah, I mean, just an absolute gut-wrenching loss. You have a matchup you feel good about. Ranger Suarez is a stud in the postseason. Still is, by the way. Better postseason ERA than Sandy Koufax. So that's pretty cool. But your offense couldn't take advantage of, a rookie pitcher with a over 5 ERA. It was supposed to be too big of a moment for him. And, credit to, I botched his name, 9 Ways to Sunday. It's Fad? Right. Like, however the.
I wasn't able to watch any of his start. I was at work till the 7th inning, so.
Yeah.
The game got crazy.
I think it's. Yeah, I think it's Fad. Either way, kid was electric, looked really good. Struck out, I think, 9 Phillies. Ranger finished with 5 1/3, 7 Ks. Both starting pitchers were awesome, but I mean, this is a game that the Phillies should have jumped all over that kid. I mean, it should have been a nightmare lineup to run through, and they made him look like Clayton Kershaw in his prime. So that can't continue to happen.
About to say, can't say Clayton Kershaw anymore. He got dismantled after game one, but
shelled.
It's very unfortunate the way the situation played out in the bottom of the ninth. Like, Ketel Marte has been their only hitter this series, and it just happens to get to him with the bases loaded. Like, that just feels unlucky.
So the reason why it got to him with the bases loaded is something we're going to get into in length in a couple of minutes. But you're right. Like, they got their guy at the plate in the perfect situation. A little bloop single did it. But it was one of those games where, I mean, this Phillies team is too talented, too loaded up and down the lineup to only come away with one unearned in this game. And what I want to start off with, we'll get to the bullpen in a second, but right now we have Bryce, who they're not going to pitch to Bryce, probably the rest of the series, I would say. So they're going to pitch around him to get to Bohm, and either Bohm has to pick it up. He's hitting 188 in the postseason. Had a nice night 2 nights ago, but everybody did.
Yeah.
But you look at tonight, he has a chance. Harper's in scoring position. Your 4-hole hitter should be looking to put the ball in play to drive him in. And I think he got burned. I think it was a bad third strike, but he was given a gift to strike the pitch before that.
That was the biggest gift I've ever seen.
Yeah, so you can't, if you're your 4-hole hitter, you can't look at probably 3 really good hittable strikes and just keep hoping for a walk. I need Bohm to get the bat off his shoulder, or do you move the lineup around a little bit? I mean, Thompson's been hesitant to do it, but do you protect Bryce by bringing Cassidy up? I don't really know. I know he's comfortable at 7. I don't know if he mess up his kind of mojo down there. What do you think?
Oh, gosh. This feels like the never-ending puzzle of the Phillies lineup is, because, like, Schwarber can't hit not lead off. Like, he has to hit lead off. I don't want to move Trey down at all. I want to keep the top 3 in order, which really.
Well, yeah, the issue's behind Harper.
The 4-hole. That's what I'm saying. You can't move any of those guys down, and like the only one that you could possibly move up is Castellanos at this point. And I mean, maybe you can move up Real Muto 1 spot or 2 spots and just change it a little bit, like.
Yeah, I didn't think about Real Muto. That might be a safer move. I don't want to say he's a less streaky hitter, I'll say, than Castellanos. He can hit up and down the lineup, whereas Castellanos, once he gets hot, you really don't want to mess with him because he can snap into a cold streak just as easily as he got hot.
Mm-hmm.
But then you got Stott. You can kind of put anywhere, although he's hitting the ball pretty well. He's getting some long. It's tough. Like, it's tough what you do with Bohm. But I don't know if he's the answer in the 4th spot, especially if Bryce is going to get pitched around. Because you saw tonight, it was in that. God, that was the that top 9, I think it was. Yeah, it was top 9. I mean, Harper was 4 straight balls. They knew that the matchup they wanted was Bohm. They probably didn't want to get past him to JT. So you really don't want pitchers to feel comfortable throwing to your 4-hole guy. I mean, I'd say March is hitting the ball better than Bohm right now. JT's hitting the ball better than Bohm. Cassie's hitting the ball better than Bohm.
I think everyone besides Johan Rojas is.
Yeah, so he really can't be behind Bryce because it's too easy to avoid Harper right now, and they have to make teams pay for putting Harper on.
But it doesn't. I don't know. Do you really want to mess with it? I mean,
I don't. I mean, I'm not a proponent of messing with the lineup that often, but I think the last 2 games, Harper getting very few hittable pitches is kind of going to force Rob's hand. That unless you want to take Harper out of the series and just be content with him hitting the equivalent of a single at every at-bat, which is not bad. He's on base. He can steal. He can move. But that's not why you have Harper. You have him for that double in the gap. You have him for the dagger home run. So somebody behind him needs to force teams to pitch to Bryce. It's not Alpo.
I feel like they've solved the issue before Bryce. Like, I know we were talking about how the top 3 is fine, and I know I keep going back to this, but like I feel like Turner has made a lot of those looks for Harper happen just by simply getting on base.
Yeah. Schwarber's going to be a solo shot, what have you. That's fine. Trey's consistently on for Harp. But and also Bohm's been a ground ball machine too. So let's say you do walk Harper. You feel pretty comfortable between Bohm or JT. If you've watched the Phillies this season, one of those 2 guys is going to kind of do a double play. It's fun for me to like scroll through Twitter and see the fans who just joined us a couple weeks ago because they're like, oh, I can't believe that happened. They're just a devastating double play by Bohm there, and everybody who's been watching since April goes, yep, that's pretty much the way this goes. Yeah.
Who'd be really great behind Harper right now?
Shohei?
No. I'm not reaching unrealistic here. I was gonna say Reese.
Oh man. Yeah, I was really hoping to see him in the CS, but I do get why Rob didn't pull him up, because he can't do anything but hit. He really can't run great at the moment, and he's not ready to play in the field. And I'm not a fan of Jake Caves. I don't think he brings much to the table. However, in a pinch, if he can play a couple different spots in the outfield should you have an injury. He's not completely useless on the base paths. Like he offers more value than Reese at the moment, even though the vibes Reese been bringing would be incredible. Mm-hmm. But we already have one guy who can hit and not run, and that's Kyle Schwarber.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying it feels like JT, he leads the postseason in RBI, he leads the post. I think he's postseason RBIs. I think he has 10.
I'm actually not sure. Postseason RBI leaders.
I think it's JT with 10.
Oh, not all time. All of these are in history. Oh wait, this is it. Oh, that's bullshit. Okay, but none of this is accurate. Like, Jake Cave leads the league in batting average because he hasn't hit yet. He's still batting 1,000.
Yeah, he had that one in the gap.
And you're right. JT's tied with Yordan Alvarez with 10. So put JT at 4.
Yeah, I'm here with that. I also don't think he's in the lead anymore. I think Yord had an RBI tonight.
Oh, okay. It's probably not updated till today. It might have been coming in today.
We'll talk about Yord if they both make the World Series. That dude legitimately scares me.
He's a problem. He is a problem.
The best hitter. I think that dude's the best hitter on the planet. Yeah. Honestly.
Right now he is. He's the hottest hitter. I mean, in a postseason that includes Bryce Harper, Yordan Alvarez is still the most dangerous hitter in the postseason.
Dude had
the bar's high.
But we need to keep talking about the Phillies though. Like, so Sanchez is pitching game 4, not Walker. Thank goodness.
Yep.
I'm
big
totally
balls
fine
moved by Rob. the easy call would have been Walker. I'm glad that he went with Sanchez instead.
I'm so glad. I mean, in a recent history of good signings, that one just such a miss.
It was. If he fell off toward the end of the season, no doubt. I think he still won 15 games. He won like either 12 or 15 games. He had a great season win-loss wise. And if you remember, he was an all-star at the midway point. Now, the book on Taijuan Walker has always been that he comes out of the gates red hot and he falls apart in August, which he did again. But I wouldn't say it's a bust signing. I mean, for a starting pitcher money, I think it was, a 4-year, $72 million deal.
Something like that.
That's really low-end pitcher money. If he wins you 12 games. And when he was, pretty rough down the stretch, rough by him was a bad first inning, and then he'd still give you 6. I mean, it might be six inning pitch, 3 earned, but he'd still take you into the – I don't know. I don't think it was a complete bust, but you're right. In the playoffs, when you can't let teams put up 3 or 4 in the first, Sanchez was the move.
Sanchez was indeed the move, and I mean the bullpen finally got like
not the bullpen, not the bullpen. Craig Kimbrell.
Kerkering got too. It just didn't, it didn't show up because Alvarado just absolutely bailed him out with a flawless sequence. So.
Dude, it's time that this fan base starts talking about Alvarado the way we do Brad Lidge. I mean, look, 48 for 48 is going to live in history forever. Dude had one good season. That next year, and he was never the same. This is the second year in a row Alvarado has been the best reliever in the postseason. And he's way better this year than he was last year.
Yeah, he's the only pitcher that doesn't give me a panic attack when they step up to the mound for the Phillies. And in the bullpen, that is, not starting.
Honestly, I feel pretty comfortable with Hoff.
I can't.
After what he did tonight,
he did good tonight, but I'm still scarred from the divisional round when he left that slider over for Austin Riley. So.
Yeah, I mean, look, these guys are going to miss a pitch, but when you look at our bullpen, the two guys that you count on, to put out fires, it's Alvarado and Hoffman. And hold that thought because we're going to get into that right now, actually. So the way Rob structured it, it's Alvarado and Hoffman get you out of a jam. Then you pray that Kerkering, Soto, or Dominguez can give you an inning or 2 safely, and you hand it over to Kimbrell in the 9th. As the games get closer and the series mean more, can you still give Kimbrell the ball in the 9th?
Wow, this feels like the hey, you want to win a World Series? Answer this question, because that man Alvarado has saved this team's butt so many times. It feels like at this rate, like honestly, and like to not be able to use him before the 9th feels like it'd be more detrimental than good.
I agree.
Because so if Alvarado doesn't come in there, the game's over.
It's over before you get to the 9th.
Yeah, throws away before you get to the 9th. So like, but also if you were to reverse it and somehow some reliever, I don't know who, say came in, got him out of it, and then Alvarado came in for the 9th, we would still be playing baseball in the 10th inning. Like,
I agree. So that takes me to, I've been thinking about this since that. Honestly, I've been thinking about this since Game 4 of the NLDS, because I was there. I was lucky enough to get tickets, and I watched Kimbrell walk 2 guys when he couldn't afford to and nearly lose us the game. Then Matt Strahm came in to close it. And it got me thinking, look, if this guy can't find the zone when he needs to and then gets put in hitters' counts with the game on the line, is he your closer? I don't think so at this point going forward. I think maybe you use him earlier in a lower leverage situation, but my ideal run would be Jose Alvarado when you need him. You don't wait till the 9th, because I think you and I agree there. Like, he needs to be in the belly out. Put a little bit more faith in Dominguez or a little bit more faith in Soto. Both guys have devastating stuff. They've just been a little bit more inconsistent. give a little bit more faith in Strom, give him an inning here or there, and keep Hoffman for the ninth. In a perfect world, you'd throw Alvarado in the ninth. He's your best guy. You want your best guy to be your closer, but you got to get there first. And I trust Hoffman way more than I do Kimbrel.
It's tough at this point because even with that pitch, that haunts my brain still. That I thought it was like, oh my gosh, we just slammed it with the opportunity to slam the door shut, and then Hoffman just left it wide open. But like maybe you could do. I don't think baseball. I mean, it could work like this, but like maybe some kind of hybrid thing. Like if you don't need Alvarado, you could use him for the ninth.
Oh yeah, I mean, you hold out as long as you can.
Yeah, but the second this team smells sniffs danger in the water, like you warm him up and put him in,
and it works because as soon as the other team. That's why I love the way Rob manages, man. He manages every game like it's game 7. As soon as he can sense the other team believe in a little bit, he goes, all right, give me the hammer. They bring in Alvarado, shut that right down, and then move on to the next inning. And I want to be able to continue to do that. It's just someone else has to close other than Kimbrel if he can't find the zone.
Yeah, I'd make the absolutely foolish claim for later in the series, like game 6, game 7. We're throwing Ranger in that pen, and hopefully Ranger can eat that clutch inning for Alvarado, and then save Alvarado for later.
Well, I'm trying to think. So
he's been so good. He's a madman.
Yeah, you'd almost. I don't know if you could do that though, because I mean, look at it this way. So Ranger through tonight. You got Walker tomorrow, and then you go back to the top of the rotation.
You got Sanchez.
So
there's an off. There's
an
off day.
No, but that's not where your issue lies. So you got
the issue's enough rest. I know.
Yeah, so you throw Sanchez tomorrow, game 4. Then you got Wheeler 5, Nola 6.
Then you're throwing Suarez 7 if you need him. So
he has to start 7, so you can't pitch him as a reliever in 6.
I feel like in that scenario, Wheeler would come out of the pen if it went 7. Honestly.
Oh, if it's game 7, everyone's available.
Except Nola.
But you still start that game with Suarez on normal rest.
Yeah.
You don't go into a game 7 stretching.
No, I'm not saying throw Wheeler out there to start the game. I'm saying if you need him.
Oh yeah, I'm with you there. I was talking about your point previously when you said game 6 or 7, Rangers available out of the pen. He can't.
Yeah, I didn't think of that. I didn't do the math right.
Yeah, because I mean we need.
He's been too good. He's been too good, man.
Not enough people outside of Philadelphia talked about Ranger. I mean, you get Wheeler, the MLB account always reposts the Wheeler starts and the Nola starts because they've been incredible on their own right. But Ranger Suarez has yet to allow a run in this postseason. This is a team who had to play the wild card, play the DS, and is now in the CS. He has not yet allowed a run. Someone's got to start talking about that. And he's not flashy. Like, none of his stuff is devastating, I would say.
He just gets it done.
Yeah, Wheeler's got the crazy good fastball, curveball off the fastball, pretty nice. Obviously, Knowles has the devastating curveball, and that thing works. It is a thing of beauty. And, he can dot his fastball. He needs to. Good changeup. I can't think of a signature pitch for Suarez, but he doesn't need one.
Mm-hmm.
It's bizarre. I mean, I guess Sanchez is the same way. I mean, he doesn't really have a marquee pitch. He's just consistent. He hits the spots. But after tonight, I think they come back tomorrow. They come back tomorrow. I forget how the series works. Then they come back tomorrow, take that one. I think they win in Philly.
I'd feel content if we took tomorrow or the day after. And I'd feel tomorrow. I don't want to go back to Philly potentially down 3-2.
No. Yeah, no, you want to.
We need to take one of these two. I'll feel fine. We're not dropping both of them in Philly.
No, I don't think we never would. I don't think they get swept at Arizona either. I think they'll steal one probably tomorrow because it's a full bullpen game for the D-backs. They don't have a fourth starter in the playoffs. Excuse me. So they're like us last year. Look, their third starter, great job tonight. He's a rookie who threw a 5+ ERA through the regular season. So if he's your third guy, you don't have a trustworthy fourth or fifth.
Mm-hmm.
Which we didn't last year.
we need to take this because then they're gonna go back around to Zach Gallen, and I know we got him the first time, but like I'd rather
He had a great start against us. We got him for what, 3 runs?
and no, that was Merrill Kelly with his only hits being solo shots.
Oh, you're right.
Then we got the bullpen. Then we just absolutely tagged the bullpen. So
We didn't beat up on we didn't beat up on Gallen either, from what I recall.
but we still got them for the important ones, which kind of worries me a little bit because the ball flies better in Philly than it does Arizona. Like
For sure.
That's not even. I don't even think we can dispute that. Like at this point.
Well, no, it's a hitter's park and it's outdoors.
Yeah, exactly, and it's just one of those things where we're gonna need to hit Gallen, and we're gonna need to hit Kelly again. I mean, Kelly's next start's gonna be at Philly if it happens,
which is a torture chamber for opposing pitchers.
So the game 5 with Gallen in Arizona is the one that's it's kind of after we lost tonight, setting like the blinking the red flag a little bit. Because like if we somehow drop the bullpen game tomorrow, it could so easily be 3-2 head. I know Wheeler's pitching for us,
but you're right. Like we gotta. I don't know. You muted yourself somehow. Okay, Ryan's mic left the chat for a second, so until we get that figured out, the point being, you got to seize tomorrow because if you manage to blow the bullpen game, then you're looking straight down the barrel of a 2-2 series, a team that all of a sudden believes, and they've got their best guy on the mound. So you don't want to end up in that situation. You want to bury them while you can. 3-1. 3-1, I think this Phillies team senses blood in the water. You have your guy pitching again. I think you hand it to Wheeler and let him close up the series. But giving Wheeler the ball 2-2 with Arizona all of a sudden rattling off 2 in a row and having their ace from the mound, it's a whole different series, and we've lost them out.
We had it and we lost it. I don't know what happened to my mic there. It just didn't. Just whatever technology. But thanks for finishing my thought. Like because it scares me. Like this team had the opportunity. I'm not going to speak on the Marlins series because it was just a 2-0, but we had the chance to shut the door on the Braves. We fumbled it, but we went back and regained. We have the chance to absolutely slam the door shut here. The offense fumbles. Like it feels kind of concerning. I know it was game 2's. I forget who was tweeting about it, but now it just feels like it's the opportunity to slam the door shut, and they just can't get it done.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, the Braves. I think the Braves series. Even though you're right, they could have stole game 2 in Atlanta. The Braves series is a triumph overall because they were the better team all 3 games. I mean, sometimes the better team doesn't win. But you're right. This one, they let them back in too early. Like the Braves, you split in Atlanta, you get the series back to Citizens Bank Park, and you take care of business. Here, you did what you're expected to do in Citizens Bank. You took 2-0. But then you got to go to Arizona for 3. And this team is decidedly a better team at home. So, I mean, I think fans have every right to be a little bit worried because, dropping game 2 to the Braves sucked, but you knew where you were headed. You knew they were coming home. You knew the fans were ready. You knew it was going to be electric. They're out here a little while. Like, dropping game 1 in Arizona, they need to find themselves on the road over these next 2 games. They're not home. There's no Philly faithful. There's no 10th man in the crowd. So it's a little bit different.
I do have not an overwhelming sense of confidence, but at least no matter what happens in Arizona, which that's absolute worst case scenario that they sweep in Arizona, they at least get to come back to their home crowd in game 6 and 7 and try to get the job done. I hope it doesn't come to that. I hope they only need game 6 or maybe, but
yeah, I'm kind of with you because, I mean, the bank's magical and it's hard to win there. But, I mean, the Diamondbacks are a good enough team that if they come in 1 win away from the World Series, they remind me a little bit of us last year that they can win ugly. They're motivated. They have a lot of confidence. I don't want to see that scenario, and I would hate to watch the Phillies get eliminated at home in Game 7.
That would be the most brutal
sour
as a Phillies fan.
Run. Yeah. So we're not going to put that out in the universe. We're going to come back, win the bullpen game, guarantee that this series will be clinched in Philadelphia, and just assume that our boys are going to be the ones to get it done. But the last 5 minutes, we have to talk about another crushing loss. The Eagles finally fucked around and found out. They kept playing as bad as they could possibly play and still win games until this week. They just took it a little bit too far. And we only have 5 minutes, so just give me. If you could place the blame in one area, where are you putting it?
Coaching. Got it.
Which one?
Offensive.
Because it wasn't Sean Desai.
No, Sean Desai pitched a good game. He wasn't perfect by any means, but he got the job done with
not what he had. He didn't have a lot.
He didn't. Yeah, I was about to say with limited pieces that he didn't have his. I don't know what Darius Slay is at this point, but he didn't have his best asset in Jalen Carter.
Yeah,
to make the defense roll. So
you're playing with a brand new slot corner who got hurt.
Yeah,
Blankenship gets hurt. So your secondary's decimated, and you lost your difference maker up front. I've been a big Sean Desai fan, and I thought he kept us in that Jets game. We had no business being a part of it. So which of the two remaining coaches are you placing the majority of the blame on?
It's got to be the offensive coordinator. Why did we pass the ball that many times in a close game? I don't know.
50 times.
Dude, something needs to be figured out here. You were playing I'm not going to say Jalen Hurts isn't an advanced passer because he's come a long way since coming out of college. That tape is just totally different now. But you are still not playing to his strengths. Put the ball in his hands as a runner, or put it in Swift's hands or Gainwell's hands. It just didn't feel like a good game plan.
No, and I think the game plan this season, honestly, with Jalen Hurts has kind of sucked because Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in football, and it's getting less close as this season goes on. But the best athlete at quarterback is Jalen Hurts, and I think Pat would say that. Why are we making this guy play the position like he's Kirk Cousins?
I don't know.
He's so magical with his legs, and the only time he's allowed to run are designed QB runs when we telegraph it to the defense. I thought he had some moments against the Jets where he played really, really, really well. He got out of a lot of trouble. He made some throws that only he and Patrick Mahomes could make. But when's the last time? You saw him he hasn't run for over 100 yards this year. I could be mistaken, but I'm pretty sure last year he either flirted with or passed Michael Vick's record for 100-yard rushing games in a season. He's just let him out of the pocket. Let him be Jalen Hurts. You didn't pay him $300 million to turn him into Kirk Cousins. You paid him $300 million knowing who he was. So I don't know why Brian Johnson's treating him. And maybe it's the organization. Maybe I'm placing the blame in the wrong place. But he's treating him like he's wrapped in bubble wrap. You got to let him be Jalen.
Yeah, I don't know if that's an NFL problem at this point because I see that happening. Josh Allen, not so much. He's still doing his thing a little bit. But Lamar's not running as nearly as much as it felt like. But maybe it's just a shift in. I don't know what it'd be a shift in, honestly. But it just doesn't feel like these guys are running as much as they used to. Maybe it's the new big money deals.
They all got paid.
That's what I'm saying. They all got paid, and they're like, no, you can't run anymore because if you get hurt, season's over. Kind of deal.
But why'd you pay him? What did you pay him for?
You know what's funny? It feels like Mahomes is running more than he usually does.
He's lost a lot of weapons. So if you watch the Chiefs, that passing game is not what it used to be. So that's why he's running.
I know, but it's just the Bills are the same problem. That's a whole other topic. But anyway. Yeah, it's the offensive coordinator. Honestly, it's just the game plans haven't been good. I forget what it is. I gotta bring it up real quick if you wanna.
Yeah, I can advance.
Fill some time because it's a very good stat.
Yeah, pull it up. But it's crazy. Just you're paying the $300 million. You didn't go out and get like I said, a guy like Tom Brady or something like that. Jalen Hurts was special because of his legs, and the passing game evolved out of the fear that he was going to take off because you couldn't drop all your linebackers in coverage. You had to leave a guy to spy on Hurts. And the connection he and A.J. Brown have is so special because once he does get out of the pocket and start making things happen, A.J. Brown has that like Travis Kelce ability with Pat Mahomes to know where his quarterback needs him to be and to get to that spot. But if you make Jalen a pass, just a pocket passer, he's a shell of himself. That's why his numbers reflect that. So I don't quite understand what the thought process there has been. I also don't really understand why we brought in Julio Jones in the twilight of his career. It's fun. I think it's cool. Yeah, but this is a team who's half the secondary's hurt. I get we brought him in on vet min and it doesn't really affect other moves, but we couldn't go bring in some cornerback depth, some experienced safety depth. I love Sidney Jones. I think he's going to be good. But can we get a couple veterans back there?
I'm mad Jeremy Chin got hurt. I thought he was going to be an Eagle, but now he's not.
I know. Well, now Kevin Byard's the new target.
Yep. So the stat is adjusted net yards in total, like as an offense, as a defense, like combined.
Yep.
The Eagles are 17th best in the league total.
That's yeah.
For
this
total
is a team.
Net yards.
Jalen Hurts, DeAndre Swift, Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown, Dallas Goedert. Inexcusable. Too talented to be 17th. Not to mention one of the most talented offenses in football.
That's combined offense and defense. Offense, they're probably still middle of the pack. There's a lot of teams in the negatives. But
yeah, that can't happen.
This team is going to get got. If you looked in the event stats, you knew this team was going to get got sooner than later. And now we have Miami up this week in prime time, and you're going to have to figure out a lot quick because
you have to score quick. Have we? I'm trying to think. Outside of the overtime game against Washington, have we cracked 30? Outside of that game?
I don't think so. Because you did it in Tampa, so no.
Yeah, you're going to need 30 plus with this. And look, and again, I'm going to keep singing Sean Desai's praises. He's playing with end-up defense. I know guys are coming back. It's their first week back. They're not 100%. And this Miami team can score with the best of them. So we're going to need – I'm saying we're going to need 35 plus to win this one. And that's with a good defensive showing.
Yeah. I don't know who's going to cover Tyreek Hill. I heard this on a podcast today, and I just want to check if it's true. He's averaging 5 yards per route run.
Wait, really?
Every route he runs, he's averaging. So if you were to divide his yards by his route run, it'd be 5, which is stupid. Most NFL wide receivers are usually around 2, 3. This dude's at the full 5s.
Yeah. Wait, who?
It's ridiculous. He's the greatest, or not the, well, he's the best wide receiver in the NFL at this current point. It's not even close.
Considerable margin. We probably have the next one. Yardage wise, it's him, a considerable gap, and then A.J. Brown at 6. Man, who do you put on Tyreek Hill? I love James Bradbury. He's a great corner. That's not his game. He's big, tall, and physical.
And then you, maybe this defensive front, they opened as favorites, which really confused me.
We shouldn't be. I'm an Eagles fan.
They opened as 2.5-point favorites. And maybe it's the strength of the defensive line, because when teams devote all that attention to Tyreek, Raheem Mostert, Devon Achane just absolutely cut you up. Maybe this front four is good enough to get it done against those guys. But
if you're, look, Mike McDaniels is a good coach. If you're looking at the Eagles right now, and I think our linebacking core has overperformed so far. Morrow has been better than I expected.
Morrow's top 5 in PFF grade, so yeah.
Yeah, he's been good. But if I'm looking at it, the Eagles front and then contrast it with the Eagles linebacking core and secondary, I'm burying this team over the middle. I am slanting this Eagles defense to death. Get the ball out quick. Don't let Jalen Carter, Fletcher Cox, and the boys tee off, and make this secondary make plays in the open field.
And then when you're not expecting it, just give the ball to Mostert and hope he runs faster than everyone else.
Yeah, the game plan to beat us this week is pretty clear cut. So unless we somehow find a way to win in the shootout, I think it could get ugly.
It's going to have to be a shootout. Miami's defense isn't anything special.
I don't think Brian Johnson's built that way. This offense isn't built for a shootout.
No, can we?
No,
can
he
we?
loves the screen game.
I know it's so whack.
It's so dumb.
Can we call in loan out Shane Steichen for a game? We'll pay the Colts in 7th round draft picks.
I will say one of the prouder moments I think I've had of this podcast, but I didn't hear anybody else bring it up that often. From the get-go, we both said the team's more talented. You can't lose both coordinators and not notice. And when everybody was super high on the Eagles coming into the season, the talent of this to that, you can't lose 2 coordinators and not notice. We've been through this with Frank Reich, and there was a huge drop-off. Shane Steichen was a wizard with the offense. He leaves. Oh, Brian Johnson, he and Jalen Hurts are boys. They've known each other forever. We're going to be great. We're not. You can't lose 2 coordinators and not notice. It doesn't happen.
I mean, we've noticed it a little bit less on the defensive side because
I think the
city wanted Jonathan Gannon out by the end.
The side's been awesome, but as great as he's been, Brian Johnson's been working in direction.
Totally agree. It's just I don't know what this equals.
It's going to be a tough game. I'm probably it's going to be a shootout all game. Brian Johnson had better bring his adult pants and leave that screen bullshit at home. And if he doesn't, we'll lose. And if he does, we'll see what this team really is.
I need to look real quick at what the over-under is for this weekend.
It's gotta be. You would think it'd be high. But, I mean, the Eagles have played so many low-scoring games. I don't know.
51.5, highest of the week. Yeah, that seems right. So, and it's the highest outside of Chiefs Chargers by a wide margin. Everything else is in the lower 40s, lower to mid 40s.
Oh,
so,
like I said, we'll see if he decides to be aggressive or if he's delusional enough to think this is going to work.
I want to see this dude's red zone offense in full effect. I feel it. I'm not going to say it, but I'm going to say it. I feel like this dude has been bailed out by the tush push or the Philly or the brotherly shove or whatever we're calling it now a little too much. Like
the brotherly shove.
Let's get to the one.
And you're right.
Let's get to the one, and we're going to do it. Like that. I feel like I want to see a little bit more in the red zone. Honestly.
We have one of the worst red zone offenses in football at the moment.
And that is
Jake Elliott is the highest scoring field goal kicker, which is great for Jake Elliott, but it's a sign that we're really bad in the red zone.
Hey, I like that, man. I root for him all the time. I know we both do. But, like, come on. We need
he needs to be less busy.
If Jake Elliott continues this pace throughout this gauntlet of a schedule, this Eagles team is not going to have a good record looking back in a couple weeks. This schedule gets really hard.
It's really bad, dude. I mean, they got to figure it out quick. I think if they drop this one to Miami, I think Nick Sirianni has to take play calling back. I know he gave it to Shane Steichen, and that turned this Eagles team into what it is. And I understand not wanting to take it back because, he wasn't a great play caller, but that was his first year as a coach. But he's going to have to. I mean, part of being a head coach is owning things. And if Brian Johnson can't do the job, they built a Super Bowl contender. Sirianni has to step up and call the plays if they lose this week.
For sure. Can I just visualize real quick how brutal the schedule gets? Because I don't know.
Please lay it out.
So we have the Dolphins this weekend. We have the Commanders who play us tough, but that should be a win, right?
It's a tough game every week.
It should be a win, though. Then we have Dallas, Kansas City, Buffalo, San Fran, Dallas again, and then Seattle. Seattle's
outside of Seattle and Washington. That's a murderous schedule.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the way this offense looks right now, KC's a loss, Buffalo's a loss.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know about Buffalo. I after this weekend, I don't know how much of the Sunday night game you got to catch. It was abysmal.
I don't think, but they're not going to stay like that.
I know they're not going to stay like that, but when you look at their offense, it feels like they're kind of destined to stay like that unless Josh Allen plays hero ball all the time. But
which he's done so far.
Yeah, I mean, Stephon Diggs
really career.
So
So we'll see what happens. It's getting to be that time of night over here. We both, work in media, so we're up early in the morning. But We'll see what happens with the Eagles this Sunday. We're both rightfully concerned. Honestly, I'm more concerned about the Phils at the moment, but we'll continue to cover both. I'm Brandon. That's Ryan. This is the Pattison Report. Go Phils.
Yeah, go Phillies. Red October, baby.